What's poppin' YouTube? Hey, it's Josh here at Pop Lab Studio, once again doing something pop culture related. As you can see, I have a bunch of ingredients out on the table here, or counter. All right, and if anybody knows what these is just by looking at it, what these is, if anybody knows what this is just by looking at it, all right, it is the famous Meghan Markle, aka Meghan of Sussex, spaghetti. One pot spaghetti. I know my Italian friends out there will be like, that's sacrilege. It is very controversial, but, I'm going to try it for my family. And looking at it, it's getting a 1,000 out of a 10. So that's a good thing. Got my spinach, onion, tomatoes, garlic. My family does like some extra seasoning, red pepper flakes, Italian seasoning, olive oil, salt, Parmesan cheese, dry spaghetti, and water. All right. Step number 1, wash your hands, you filthy animals. Step number 2, wash your veggies. I'm only going to use about half of this bag of spinach. It's going to cook down anyway. I want to wash it, make sure I get rid of all the bad pieces. Not just the spinach, but also the tomatoes. The original recipe did call for like the small vine tomatoes or the small, those really tiny tomatoes. What I'm going to end up doing is taking about 2, maybe 3 of these tomatoes, these little Roma tomatoes, and I'm going to dice them up nicely and use that instead of the small little tomato. I hate when those little tomatoes, you're eating your food, and then all of a sudden one of those little tomatoes pops in your mouth, and then you crush it in your mouth, and all of a sudden it just squirts like red hot lava, and you're like, oh my gosh! So don't want to do that. I'm going to dice those up, and I'm going to actually add an onion. I mean, no need to really wash an onion. You just peel it and cut it, but rinse it off anyway. All right, now on to the next step. All right, as I said, I'm going to add a little bit of onion to this, but I'm only going to use about half of the onion that I had. As you guys can tell, I am not a chef. I don't even play one on TV. I am just chopping these up so that they're smaller pieces. You just don't get a whole mouth of onion. No one likes that. Well, actually, some people might. Let me rephrase that. No one in my household likes that. All right, but I don't want them so that they're so small they just disappear. Because onions do shrink just like the spinach is going to as well. All right. On to the next step. Okay, as I said, I have my tomatoes here. What I'm going to do is just cut them into some chunky slices. Let's see how much that yields. So I'm not following the recipe exactly, and there's many different variations of this online. You guys can go Google it, look it up. You know, probably other ones here on YouTube as well, just not mine. So let's see what we got here. I'm cutting these tomatoes up like this because every time I go to Publix and get a pub sub, yes, for all you people that know, this is the way I actually prefer them. And they're like, "Do you want tomatoes?" I'm like, "Yeah, can you cut them up? Can you dice them up and then put them on the sub?" It just, I don't know, it just hits a little bit differently. I don't know if I'll need that third one. You know what? I'm going to cut half of it so that all right. That should be a good mix. Like I said, I don't like those little cherry tomatoes or plum tomatoes. All right. Next up. All right, next step. In a big pot with tall sides on it to accommodate everything, we're going to add the olive oil. The salt. Crushed red pepper flakes. Just a little bit for taste. A pinch of Italian seasoning. My wife doesn't like it that much. Just a little bit. The onions. The tomatoes. And last but not least, I think the original recipe called for like 5 cloves of garlic, but as you can tell, my measurements are not exact. So I'm just winging it. So I'm going to do like 2 good scoops of nice minced garlic. Okay, next step, dry pasta. Yes, dry, not cooked, not al dente, dry. It says about a half a pound. So, and it says, if it fits in there, cool. If not, break it in half. I'm going to break it in half and spread it apart. That looks like a good half pound. You know what? I always love me some leftovers. A little bit more. All right. After the dry pasta is added, then you take your water. It says roughly 3.5 cups. I guess it depends on how much ingredients you actually have in it. But just put the water in just so that it comes up to the area where it can cover the food. All right, maybe a little bit more water, guys. Hang on one second. I don't want to add too much because I don't want it to be soup, but all right, there you go. That's literally covering all of the ingredients. It is literally sitting in there. I'm just going to give it a quick stir because I have all of the seasoning on the bottom. Trying not to break all the pasta. All right. And on to the next step. Okay, next step. I have fast forwarded a little bit here because the next step is bring this to a boil. And I know everyone doesn't want to just watch water boil, literally water boil. So it's starting to bubble. All right. It says depending on how big your pot is, it depends on the style and type of pasta you have. Stir it around a little bit just to get it so that the pasta doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot. Try to keep it all still underneath the water. All right, starting to boil. Bubble, 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 bubble. I am so excited for this. And one of the main reasons is that I'm excited to see how this comes out without having any pasta sauce. It has been getting rave reviews all over all types of social media. So, the next step after you bring it to a boil doesn't say rolling boil, doesn't say, it just says bring it to a boil. It's getting there fast. Nice steam coming off of it. Smells really good too. The mixture of the garlic, mixture of even the red pepper flakes. You can smell that. The onions, the Italian seasoning. So excited, so excited. All right, now, after it comes to a boil, we're almost there. It says add a lid, turn down the heat to medium high, and wait. Let it cook for roughly 8 to 12 minutes. Once again, it's one of those things depending on what type of ingredients you have. It says every once in a while you might want to just open it up, stir it just to make sure everything is cooking evenly, nothing sticking to the bottom of the pot. All right. And I will come back in about 8 to 12 minutes. All right, guys, just a few minutes left here. I'm going to open this up a little bit. Oh, heat might be a little high. Just going to give it a quick stir. Make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. Put my lid back on. Oh, that looks so good. All right. Just a few more minutes. Those noodles look nice and al dente. Just to let you guys know, I only did an 8-minute cook on the medium to high. It said 8 to 12 minutes, but I am using angel hair pasta instead of just regular spaghetti noodles. You can use whatever pasta you want, the recipe says. It's just what I had available. So plus I do like the angel hair. I do like regular spaghetti noodles as well, but there's just a special place in my heart for angel hair. Oh my gosh. Smells so yummy. All right. I wish you guys could smell this. This just smells great. I really, really, really hope for my sake and my son's sake, because he's going to be the one eating it. Well, I am too, but that it tastes really good. He is a very picky eater, so this hopefully should satisfy the pickiness. I mean, who doesn't love pasta? Reading through the website that I pulled it from, it says you can use other things such as gluten-free pasta. You can use other tomatoes. You can use other things. Cool. So good, so good. Almost done. Just a few more minutes here. We're going to get this bad boy ready. In the meantime, I do have my spinach over here ready. I have already picked out the nasty wilted ones. Just the good stuff is left. There's nothing crazy in here. It's all been washed. It's been draining in the colander. And I do have, the recipe did call for only about 1/3 of a cup of grated cheese, the Parmesan cheese, but I have a little under half a cup. And the reason is because I did add the extra pasta. So I wanted to make sure that I have enough to, like I said, have leftovers. I am just worried with the amount of liquid in here. I mean, there's no sauce. I don't know how this is going to work. It smells divine. Alexa, off. Okay, next step. Turn off the heat. It says remove from heat immediately. And watch the hot burner. Instantly add your spinach while it is still hot so that it can cook down. And throw the cheese on top. Then from there, we're going to stir it up. Where did my spoon go? All right, we're going to stir it up so that the pasta and the water that's in there gets all in with the spinach. Like I said, the spinach will like shrivel up and become smaller. It says the cheese is supposed to give it like a creamy. I'm not really seeing the creamy texture yet. Okay, this is definitely not enough spinach in there. I mean, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly pop over to the fridge. I'm going to grab more spinach and more cheese, just because who doesn't love spinach and who doesn't love cheese? All right, let me go wash this in the colander again really quick. Make sure I don't have any nasty pieces lying around. All right, so let's add this while it's still hot. Yeah, you hear me shuffling around. I am going back and forth. I do have OCD, so I'm actually trying to clean up as I'm cooking. Probably not the most normal thing in the world, but hey, I'm not the most normal guy. Okay. A little more cheese. Hopefully it's still hot enough that it cooks everything up. All right, guys. This looks like it is it. So let me just do a little more. Just stirring. Let me get to that bottom of the pot too, just to make sure nothing's sticking down there. Especially since adding the cheese. Cheese loves to melt and clump up and get to the bottom of it. All right, guys, let's taste it. All right, guys, and the final step, the moment of truth, the taste testing. Once again, I'm going to add a little bit of extra cheese on top. Like I said, who doesn't love cheese, especially on pasta? All right, I'm a little nervous. No pasta sauce, no. Gotta do the old swirl. The old swirl. All right, I'm not going to let you guys watch me take a bite. All right. All right. Not having the pasta sauce on it's definitely something different. But not in a bad way. I like it. I like it a lot. As I'm trying to chew here with a mouthful of cheese. All right, guys. Well, Thanks for popping by for me making dinner, Meghan Markle style. All right, have a great day. Keep popping, guys.